So now that's 3 counts of tampering with evidence. Mr. Perry just shut the last one off when I said Daryl died. So I told you to get out of my phone. I told you not to contact me, not even like that. I told you to leave it alone. Leave me and everything alone. When you do that, though, that gets us more intel. So you asked for it. And, okay, so this puzzle got to me in jail. Answer for the court who got that to me, how, when, where. Okay? Well, when was when I was in jail. But when? Okay? Second of all, who invited you to Oklahoma? Why are you always in Oklahoma? Mr. Perry, I'm in Oklahoma. You're where I am. Why are you always in Oklahoma? Now, here's the next thing. Mr. Kunzweiler, this is for you. I did, in my criminal justice college, a class on criminal law, criminal procedure, made an A in both. We had a section that we studied on the right to privacy in our phones. So why is it that DoorDash is being used to take I'm just going to work. There's nothing illegal about delivering food. There's nothing illegal about dancing, depending on what you do when you're dancing. So, as long as you keep it to dancing. So, what in the world gives anybody at all the authority to hack my phone and my Dasher app to try to make proper ID of me? The police that are investigating Mr. Perry, the good ones, the guys that are good at what they do, and they don't think it's cute when you abuse women and children and starve them to death and stuff and sell them, human trafficking and crap, they don't think it's cute. They believe that if it's a bad guy causing suffering, we relieve suffering, we don't cause it. You throw their ass in jail, and you make sure they don't get out. Okay, so I need to understand this. I have the right to privacy in my phone, so what authority and what law, in what case precedence is being used for people to get in my phone, call in a DoorDash order, get around an algorithm that picks people randomly, get me to get a picture of me on the doorbell camera or the home surveillance garage. Some people have a garage, or make some sort of proper ID. And the reason we know that's happening because the surveillance on Mr. Powell that does have a court order, there was probable cause to believe he is committing a crime against me, has him calling constantly and asking, has we made proper ID yet? Tonight, it was what was her shirt? Was she wearing XYZ shirt tonight? Okay, what is the authority that gives them to the ability to do that? Because I believe that is a violation of my civil rights. I'm not seeing why there's a reason to do that. What's the probable cause? What's the crime? I'm going to work. I'm just trying to work. I did not eat for 2 days because we also hear of Calvin calling in another pullover. The officer supposed to do it is Nesbitt. I'm calling in an order to Jack in the Box. I'll have Nesbitt go over there and pull her over. And then we'll do the 6 o'clock news and this thing is over. We heard y'all talking about it. You got leaks, wiretap orders. I'm not told the details of that. So what authority do you have to get in my phone, hack my Dasher account, and Matt Powell wants to know if he got the right account hacked? I have the right to we studied it. It was a whole thing in my it's in my textbook about the legalities of getting into somebody's phone. And I believe they have to give you a password and shit, or you get a court order. There's a lot of it hacking it while DoorDash, really? That is outside the scope, I believe, Mr. Kunzweiler. So if you're involved in that, then I would ask you to stop. If you're not involved in that, then I would ask you to have a conversation with Mr. Warman about asking his client to stop. Mr. Perry's communications with me are inappropriate. When he has a question about something, he needs to go to his attorney with it. I'm not getting a call from Mark Warman asking me who the leaks are. I'm not authorized to give anybody that information. I'm not told that information, and I'm sick and tired of being asked about it. I said I don't want any contact from Mr. Perry at all. None. Every time he does it anyway, it makes a lot of people mad, and we start quoting you. Right? Do you like getting caught? How many times was the crime caught before you did it to me, and how many after? Answer the question for the court. How many times were you caught in crime before you did the crime to me, and how many times after? Judge Parker, what are you going to do if I disappear? What are you going to do if I disappear? Our judge is aggravated on the factual ignorance. Have you asked Mr. Perry to give an alibi? Because in our court, he's going to have to do that. Where did you spend your time? Why in the hell are you always in Oklahoma? What is the legitimate reason for you to be in Oklahoma? What is the legitimate reason for you to be having your people call in DoorDash orders to get a picture of me on their doorbell camera or other home surveillance to make a proper ID? Please explain that. What's the legitimate reason? Why are you in Oklahoma? I left Lubbock in 2013 to get away from you, to have no conflict with you at all, to have no conflict. I'm not in love with you. You're icking me out. You're ew. You're gross. You're just gross. You're rejected. And then I type in my phone, I'm going to get you. I'm going to get you. I'm like, oh my God. Well, guess what we got? You got caught. We got intel. Again today, all day long. We have every day for 10 years. We're getting the help with information you're not. You know, I've said this, the Bible verse, Proverbs 17:11, a man's kindness brings blessings, and his cruelty will be his downfall. You're the stick, the guys helping me are the carrot. Right? Didn't you guys say that we want to use the carrot and the stick approach with our... Okay, you're the stick, the guys helping me are the carrot. The guys that got me this puzzle right here. The guys that got me the McNamara email. The guys that got me the harassment email. The second one. The harassment email came from everybody in jail. They were concerned about me. He's going to send you home, harass the crap out of you, tweet from your phone. Get rid of your phone as soon as you get home. Then he's going to go into court and claim you're harassing him when you tell on him. So, be careful. Even prisoners were repulsed by you. Even prisoners were repulsed by you and your people, Mr. Perry. So they told me. Then we hear Judge Kirkendall said, it looks to me like you're doing exactly what the harassment email says. You're provoking. So I need you to leave her alone for a while, a couple of weeks, so that I can rule out provocation and entrapment. Because that's what it looks like you're doing. Just exactly what the email says. And she's like, I told you so. I did say. We're repeating this again. So, Judge Kirkendall got it right. She's already made a decision on this. Did you reopen it in Judge Parker's... Judge Parker, we heard, told my family they can't talk to me. That made some people irate. People are worried about me. They want to know if I'm okay. You're in Oklahoma. You're causing a lot of problems and a lot of loss. You don't have that right. Judge Parker needs to do some investigating or have someone investigate why you're in Oklahoma, what you're doing when you're here. These claims of sex trafficking, your compound in south of Houston, and require facts be presented to her court. There's a lot she doesn't know. Why is that? We heard that there was again a request for a pullover, targeted harassing pullover, and I guess they didn't. We're waiting for the list. I did get pulled over a lot in a very short period of time, and we got traffic court Tuesday. Actually, everybody's scared of that. I asked for the list in discovery, and Dunbar, the city prosecutor, wouldn't give it to me. So I am alleging Brady violation. I make a brief and I say I want this dismissed. This is a Brady violation. And he says, well, we're not giving her the list because it's not relevant. And the judge says, well, argue in a brief. What you just told me, argue it in a brief. I get the brief from Dunbar. You know what Dunbar argued in response to my brief was nothing. Absolutely nothing. He argued you can't do a dismissal or hearing on grounds of insufficient evidence. My grounds had nothing to do with insufficient evidence. Those words are not even used in my brief at all. It's a Brady violation. Completely different grounds. So Mr. Dunbar argued nothing. Somebody else's case, I guess. I don't know. So we got to find out Tuesday what the hell that's all about. He didn't argue against me at all. Nothing. He made zero argument against my argument. He argued something not asserted. So we still don't have the list. And reporters questioned, okay, so there is a list. Why are they hiding it? Why is TPD hiding the list? Okay, and yes, why are they? What are they worried about? But I guess Judge Parker was putting some pressure on them to do that, maybe, to pull me over or something. And, or to do something. I'm not clear exactly on what she wanted them to do, but we heard she called Chief Franklin and said, if you can't stop your officers from leaking or helping Cindy be safe, I'm going to hold you in contempt. Wow. Okay. I don't live in Texas. I haven't lived in Texas for 9 years. I've lived in Oklahoma. Even Matt and Charles are always in Oklahoma. What jurisdiction does that court have over all of the problems happening in Oklahoma? What right did she have to tell Chief Franklin, don't do your job as a police officer, make sure all your officers don't do their job as a police officer, and keep her safe? We were shocked. We could not believe it. We were like, wow, talk about overstepping. And the same is true with what she said, tell her family they can't talk to her for now. No, I'm sorry. What jurisdiction do you have? What authority do you have to say something like that? I would like to know. Do you have the evidence or information about the sex trafficking Mr. Perry's involved in? No, you don't. But our judge does. And we do. Do you have the information on the compound in Houston with all the women and the children Charles has with other women, concubines he calls them? Have you seen the forged marriage license? No, you haven't. But you know who did? Chief Miller, who was murdered just a few days after he took my car vandalism complaint. Have you checked your facts? And then you tell my family don't talk to her? Are you shitting us with this? Are you shitting us with that? Where is your authority to do that? I haven't lived in Texas for 9 years. Not only that, but there has to be derived benefit. There has to be, which I haven't derived any benefit from Texas. There has to be purposeful availment. I slept in my car for 6 months. I could have stayed in my ex-husband's spare bedroom in Denton. I said, no, I'm going to sleep in my car. I was about starved to death. Slept in my car for 6 months and barely ate and barely was able to take a bath. For the first time in my life. Charles, I don't do canned food guy. I'm sorry. I don't do cop killer. I don't do rapist. You're everything I hate. You are deviant. You're a deviant. You're a danger to society, too. Big old meeting last night on your mental health you're not all there. You have no grasp on reality. And the guy said, I believe that because Mr. Perry, it was a very interesting conversation that I learned a lot actually from listening to this man. I believe that Mr. Perry, I hear there's rumors he was molested as a kid from age 6 to 8. Mr. Perry did make that claim, trying to make me feel sorry for him. Oh, maybe she'll like me if she feels sorry for me. I'm like, oh my God. First of all, I don't believe you. I think you're full of shit. Second of all, if that happened, lots of people get molested. They don't do what you're doing. Lonnie Athens is a criminologist at Seton Hall. He did a criminology theory on brutalization and victimization, and he talks about he was also abused as a child, but that less than 0.1% of people who are abused as children are violent offenders. Well, less than 0.1% of the population is a violent offender. If you are causing me the problems you're causing me, trying to kidnap me, selling me on the dark web or to another human trafficking, we'll get Tim to kidnap her and turn his transponder off. We hear a lot of guys that are involved in your criminal organization are pilots. Is this true? Are they pilots? Okay, when you contact me and you do the crime to me, you get caught. You don't get. You get caught. That's what you get. It's 10 years of this. You need to get real. So the guy says if he's molested as a kid, a lot of these kids will become disassociated. They got like a dissociative problem. They detach from reality and kind of go somewhere else in their head, because that's how they're coping. That's how they survive that kind of abuse. But they never stop, some of them. So the abuse ends, they grow up, now they're adults, and they don't stop. And some of them can manage to control it so that they're able to differentiate between their imaginary world and the real world, or fact or fiction, because they're disassociating from reality when they're being abused. They're going into a pretend land in their head. They're trying to not be present in the abuse that they're going through while it's happening. But most of them grow out of that. Some of them don't, but they can hide it. They kind of control it when they're around other people. It may show up as a memory problem. Oh, I forgot to do something, or I forgot about that, because at that moment I was in my pretend land. But Mr. Perry has Huntington's disease, and that became evident. That was information that became available in the police investigation, Judge Parker. So they have. It causes delusion, hallucination, paranoia, psychosis, and impaired cognitive reasoning. We've already said it over and over and over and over. So the guy says, so what happened is when he got the disease, he has no filters left, where most of us are understand that you can't do that. This kind of conduct is offensive and inappropriate, and you can't do it. He doesn't have those filters. He'll just do it anyway. Or something that would tell him, you're already caught planning that, so you can't do it. Doesn't care. He doesn't understand what those words mean. He doesn't understand. And that's basically what the guy said, is he has no fucking idea what's happening. He doesn't know. Because he has a disease now. He no longer can differentiate between what he imagined and what's real. He can't do it. He's already got this dissociative disease and kind of a detachment from reality from being abused as a kid, and he was able to kind of control it and hide it until he got this disease that is now affecting his ability to think. He can't think right. So now he can't hide this anymore. It's just showing up everywhere. He can't control it. He can't tell the difference between fact or fiction. So the guy was quoting Charles Perry. Charles Perry told someone, she still has feelings for me, she's just too afraid to say. And the guy said, that is not the case. I can tell that is not the case at all. She's angry that he's continuing to bother her. He's imagining that, and he can no longer tell the difference. He's justifying what he's doing with that statement, and it's not a true statement. It's